you have to go up and get your ice cream ready, and they're gonna come too. It's chocolate and vanilla, Tom. Chocolate and vanilla.
Awesome.
Danielle, congratulations. You are on a wonderful new chapter of your life, and despite complications, you are fated for greatness. You have proven yourself as a strong and compassionate leader, and it's time to step back and smell the roses. Whatever you choose to do in your future will be worthwhile, and you shouldn't sweat the details. Kindest wishes and hopes from me.
Thank you so much, Brandon. That's awesome. I appreciate all that you said there. Really appreciate it.
I'm gonna have to think about my new life in California.
There's nobody in here that wants to give Danielle a hard time for one last time. This'll be it.
George will.
There's something to say. It's been a pleasure having you here. I've gone to the club for over 20 plus years. You're not only our best friend, you're a rock and an anchor, and the best of everything in your future. That's it.
Thank you, George. For those who don't know, George goes way, way back. When I first started working for Riverside, I worked at a quarterway house in Foxborough, and George actually interviewed me to work at his house that he lived in. And when I finished the interview and they offered me the job and I went there, he had moved. But I've known George for many a year, and he was often referred to as Uncle George by my son. And George went to a lot of his sporting events all through his years. So George is, he's a brother to me. So you'll be missed, George. And
This is today, Danielle.
yeah.
And this wonderful place in Norwood. I really appreciate all your accomplishments.
Oh yeah. Well, I won't be around anytime soon. We gotta let Tom get his feet, and don't want to undermine him at all. So I won't see you guys probably till the great sweep event. But you guys will be my hearts and my prayers, and.
Great. Oh, thank you.
And you will be in ours, definitely.
And Tom,
Oh, this is
come on to California and visit me anytime.
This is so good.
I'll hang out in Beverly Hills. How's that?
I used to be shy. I really enjoyed all our times that we'd come in the morning and work together.
5, 6 in the morning.
Well, I wasn't gonna get into specifics, but yeah. I mean, you're one of the hardest workers I've ever seen. You're my friend and my mentor, and you mean a lot to me. I'm gonna miss you every day.
Thank you, Tim.
He's the new CFO, the new Chief Financial Officer.
Danielle, what can I say but thank you for everything from the bottom of my heart.
Elaine, we've been doing this rodeo for 20 years now.
And you stopped me from being home. You said you weren't gonna let that happen, and it didn't.
No. Yeah, you helped us kick off that whole thing and taking care of people when they're homeless. So, you were a little rough around the edges when you got here. And
Yeah.
30 years later, you're still a little rough around the edges. But we love you. But we love you, Elaine, and thank you so much.
Well, I love you too.
For all your support you've given me. And all the crap you give me too. I appreciate it.
I want to say something.
Well, that's all.
Here, I have pictures.
I don't feel like I've enjoyed working with you over the years. You saw me as a young adult. You saw me grow a lot. Saw me get into a lot of trouble, and but you've given me many chances, and I hope that I can continue to make you proud as I remain a member here and be part of the community. But I'm just really grateful for you, and I'm gonna really miss you a lot.
I have seen you grow up, so I'm very proud of the things that you've accomplished. And don't let the bad things get in your way of the good stuff. You know, you deserve a good life, and don't let anybody tell you you don't. You know, you fight for what you want. You just keep on fighting. All right.
I love you, Daniel.
I love you too, girl.
I'd like to thank Danielle for helping me get out of darkness.
Neil, you know, I gotta tell you, one of the greatest gifts that we got from the pandemic was you. Because you were always part of the clubhouse, but more in a peripheral kind of way, and you'd come in and you'd come out, but you had your life was something else. And then after the pandemic, and during the pandemic, is really when you became a leader and started shining at the club. So, you know, out of all the horrible things about the pandemic, your leadership and your devotion to the clubhouse has rose to new heights after the pandemic. And I thank you for that.
Here, here.
Yeah.
Our regular attendance on Zoom. And
Yeah, I mean,
all that good stuff.
you know, when everybody else was having a difficult time, you seem to be the one flourishing. You know, and giving hope to others.
Good and glad.
I especially like how Neil was spearheading the protest against Norwood Hospital.
Yeah. When I'm no longer an employee of Riverside, we'll be taking that one on for fun.
If anybody else takes it
Yeah.
over.
Delicious tea.
It was really, really
There was a
good.
surprise person I saw, it was Heather up this person. You have to see that person.
Oh, she's here.
Yeah, his name.
As best boss anybody could ever ask for the last 5 years. You accept me for who I am, kind of love me for who I am, and you've been a good friend for 30 years, and I know we'll continue to be good friends.
And I adore your husband, so, you know.
I know.
He's a great dancer.
He's a great dancer.
Where is he today?
He can only come tomorrow because
You taught me in the work order today. Work order day, business before pleasure,
Yep.
and on the TEs that I've worked and all of that through the years. You've been very supportive, and like Paula says, you're a great friend, you're a great director, and we wish you all the best.
Appreciate that.
I got some-
Oh, Mr. Savage.
From the shadows.
Here comes Dave.
I once said to Danielle, I said, Danielle, there's a reason why things happen. You sit back and watch them happen. She goes, no, stand up and make them happen.
That's right. You remember that, huh?
The two things that I remember you saying that I liked the best were I surround myself with good people. That's not a pat on the back for me. I'm just saying that people go out of their way to help you because you just bring that out in people. And my other favorite thing that no matter who I tell, they love it is can't be beautiful and perfect every day, but today I'm beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got a couple of ones that I really, really like, and they're always my go-tos, and they'll be part of my speech.
Today she can be beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah, I haven't screwed up today yet, so I can be beautiful and perfect today. Tina?
I just want to say thank you for running a place that has really changed my life. I went from not being able to do anything to what I do today.
And Tina, you are somebody that I believe can do even more. I think that you have the potential to be a great leader in the clubhouse. And I see you working towards that every day. So you keep it up. Thank you.
And you're a great baker.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, so good.
So sweet. I'm having a little sugar thing right here now. Is that it? Whoa.
Anybody else?
I have
question for Danielle.
Yeah.
Danielle, after all these years, how was your experience being the director of this beautiful clubhouse?
I gotta tell you, I am very grateful for the opportunity to have served everyone for the last 30 years. And I gotta tell you, I'm very blessed. I'm a very blessed person to have found Clubhouse in my life so early. I grew up here. I mean, you know, if you guys think about it, I was 21 years old when I walked through the front door. And I was the environmental unit coordinator, which was the cleaning unit. Way back then, when we were out back, every staff pretty much had their own unit, and you'd have 1 or 2 people in it. You know, and I watched this agency grow, and I watched the clubhouse go from the back to the front. I watched us turn from a social drop-in center to a clubhouse, internationally accredited clubhouse. You know, I hold the standards near and dear to my heart because I really believe if you understand the intent of the standards and you try to maintain the integrity, you're gonna run it. You'll have a good clubhouse. The clubhouse is not about one individual or one member or one staff. It's really about creating and keeping and maintaining an environment where people are wanted, needed, accepted. And I'm just so blessed to have been a part of that and to see how far people have come. And we are very, you know, we need to be grateful for all of our guardian angels. We have lost a lot of members over the years, and each one of them, I really feel, sits on our shoulders and you know, and sits in the rafters. You know, Shives chasing me with the clipboard. I don't know what to do with this clipboard. It's upstairs. You know, I've got a lot of great stuff up there, and I've been slowly handing it out. You know, I've got some beautiful artwork that I'm going to be able to take home from them that the members have done. You know, this wasn't a job for me. This was my way of life. So, come Friday, I don't know what my life looks like. But you guys deserve to have somebody that can be here full time and that can give you the strength and the courage to try things. Dignity or risk, I'm a huge believer in that. You're not gonna, you know, you've got to take risks to get the gains in the world. You know, if you're feeling isolated or sad, come to the clubhouse. That's what we're here for. I might not be here physically, but I have left enough of my spirit in this club to last a lifetime.
That's right.
Yes.
And
Up in the rafters with Eddie.
and I have a more prepared speech for tomorrow. I figured I could just wing it with my friends here today. Oh, thank you. I'll open that in a second. Yeah, Tom, Dave.
I think you're cooler than Clint Eastwood or Charles Bronson.
I'm cooler than Clint Eastwood and Charles Bronson. Well, according to Charlie Riley, who could not be here today, I am Danielle Steele, and I'm better looking than a steering wheel. For those who haven't been, that was my first experience way back when.
Can I finally tell everybody the secret that you've been hiding?
What's the secret?
Your employee number is 007.
No, my employee number is 108, so it's very low. So, I'm very grateful. I don't know what else more I can say except for that you guys are my family, and I will, you know, I'll be in your spirits. And I did want to share one more thing with you guys, and I'm gonna be a part of tomorrow. You know, if and when I leave the earth, my ask is that people do not be sad, because I got a blessed life and I got to live and do what I wanted to do for so long. But the best part of this is I don't know if people remember Jen Karp, but we have our gym. It's called Jen's Gym, and I talked to Judy, and I asked Judy, I told Judy that I wanted to keep the Jen Karp account alive, and this account is about the health and wellness of the clubhouse. And she has agreed that it will become the Carp Allen account. So anybody who, in the future, if you think of me, you want to do something nice, make a donation to the Gen Carp Fund at the clubhouse. And it'll be the Carp Allen Fund. And I'm hoping that I can bring this fund that's for health and wellness and helps pay for the pool and the softball and all the stuff for the gyms, and can pay for your classes if you want to be a personal trainer or yoga or stuff like that you can do with the club. And that means the world to me, because I will be able to continue that great passion I have for health and wellness.
I did make a donation in your honor.
Thank you.
You're not going anytime soon, are you?
No, I don't plan on it.
You know?
Yeah.
You still have to fight.
I know, you guys, I continue to fight. Nothing's gonna keep me down. The reason that I'm stepping down when I am is because I can't do the job anymore. It's not fair to you. I can't do full time. Some days are better than others, and I really would like a life where I can take a nap whenever I want and get up when I want, and and I can go and don't get me wrong, I'm a people person, and I'm a caretaker. I will find things to take care of. Or they find me, one or the other.
Come see me.
Yeah. So I want to thank everyone. You guys are amazing people and an amazing family, and I couldn't be more blessed to be a part of your lives.
Can I say something real quick?
You're gonna anyways.
I had a loss and Daniel was very kind to me.
I was kind to you?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
thank you.
You're welcome, Dave.
I have a request.
Yes,
Just if you could,
yeah.
and then.
I'll share it with folks here. Believe in your dreams.
Oh, that's really nice. That's really nice, Suzanne.
Yeah, that is absolutely fabulous. I'm sorry. Believe in your dreams. A unicorn. All right, thank you.
First, I'd like to start off by saying congratulations on your retirement.
Thank you.
You've put in a lot of hard work over the years, and you've really earned this time to relax and do the things that you enjoy. And I can't wait to hear the stories of what comes next in this next chapter of your life. You've been such an inspiring leader to me, a great role model, great friend, great colleague. And I can't thank you enough for all the opportunities that you've given me, all the times that you have encouraged me to do more than I have believed that I'm capable of. You always inspire people in this community to grow and to be the best version of themselves and reach their truest potential. I can't thank you enough for everything that you've done for the whole community over the years. Along with this, Paul has prepared a speech.
Oh my God.
So I would like to deliver this speech in Paul's absence. He's on vacation.
You get a sign in encrypted.
Danielle, I still remember the first time we corresponded via email. You wrote 2, maybe 3 sentences. One was dedicated to informing me that I had I spelled your name wrong. 2 N's, not 1. I never made that mistake again, unless Siri insisted on keeping things interesting with a malevolent autocorrect. There were other life lessons embedded in that email, and in that sentence, I began to sink in that day, and that have only further developed in the 9 amazing years that I've had you as a boss. The most powerful lesson of these has been to carry myself with confidence, to know with certainty that my voice matters, to embrace my individuality, and to be consistent. These fundamental lessons have taught me to be the best version of myself that I can be, though always striving for improvements, and they are rooted in what has made you a great ally, a protector, a boss, a friend, and most importantly, a great clubhouse director. Ask for forgiveness rather than permission. If one carries oneself with the confidence and embraces their individuality, they will not be afraid to try new things. Sometimes new things are at odds with old things, but when someone's heart is in the right place, as yours always was and is, unorthodoxy not only often changes things for the better, but becomes orthodoxy before long. And the worst thing that happens is that we have a bunch of leftover Nawood t-shirts. But seriously, You knew your worth all along, and you knew your goals were righteous, and you have created the greatest clubhouse in Massachusetts, maybe even in New England, by following your heart. Most people think that playing it safe leads to growth, strength, stability, and staff longevity. But you have proven that playing it safe merely keeps the lights on. Instead, keeping things interesting and new while maintaining consistency in your drive and benevolence has led to greater growth, strength, stability, and staff longevity. After all, as we sat in my first interview and you explained what the clubhouse philosophy was, I remember thinking one thing: what the hell does this woman want with an unsuccessful horror movie director and vacuum cleaner salesman? But following your gut paid off. I won't toot my own horn, but from what I've heard, I've been a positive asset to the clubhouse, and it certainly paid off for me. I've had the greatest job one can ask for over the past decade, and just look around at all the faces of those who have helped and supported and carried you through times tough and easy over the years. Members, staff, friends, family. You always say that a great leader is reflected in those she surrounds herself with. Look no further than those faces. The proof is undeniable. One lesson I learned from you is that it is crucial in making all other lessons function is the need for humility. To be teachable, to claim ignorance, to take criticism, and to admit fault. For every decision you have made that might have looked like a runaway train, there were countless other voices, members, staff, other clubhouses, etc., who have helped to lay the new track. And when the train arrived safely and successfully at its station, you showered the others, and the clubhouse as a whole, with the praise. If the train wound up at the bottom of a canyon, you always learned from it, applying the lessons from that experience to your next wild ride. And you always asked, am I wrong? I can't say it was always easy to say yes, but by no fault of your own. I just hadn't learned yet fully the lessons from your first email, to be confident and fearless in speaking my mind. But I'm getting there. After all, your faith in your team has got to be the greatest asset you carried as a leader, and one I aimed to adopt quickly. One of my favorite clubhouse stories was when an unnamed member, you know who you are, clogged the toilet at Liberty Tax during a TE shift. To make matters worse, that member used the bathroom with the door wide open while Liberty Tax clients and coworkers were present. I received the phone call from Liberty Tax stating, in so many words, that if we didn't come and unclog the toilet, the incident would result in us losing the TE. After apologizing profusely and hanging up, I looked at Ray, the color gone from my face and my eyes wide. Were we about to lose a TE? I was the employment coordinator. Losing a TE was like a pianist losing his fingers. Ray, I said, unnamed member, just clogged the toilet at Liberty Tax after using the bathroom with the door open. They want us to unclog it. Ray thought for half a second and then yelled out, Richie! Different Richie. A muffled voice belted out from another room. Yes, Ray? Want to unclog a toilet? Richard Steele barreled in, huffing and puffing and leaning on his cane. Yes, Ray. Where is it, Ray? Liberty Tax. On it, Ray. No questions asked. TE saved.
Wow.
And later that day, you pulled me aside and asked in bewilderment, why is Richard Steele unclogging toilets at Liberty Tax? I took a deep breath, ready to recount the whole story, but I started with, trust me, it needed to happen. You nodded, sighed, and said, okay, that's all I need to hear. That degree of faith in the team that you had built was what kept Neponset River House alive, strong, and resilient. We have faced more tragedy than any community deserves, and not because we are cursed or careless, but because we are massive and caring. If we didn't care so much for one another, we would not feel losses as deeply, and we would not have so many people to lose. That is your doing, not because you did all the work, because you trusted in your team, you trusted in your community, and you trusted in yourself building. The number of people you have touched in your years at Neponset River House and Riverside as a whole is unfathomable. From sitting with Sandra Livornia in her final days, to loaning lunch money to hungry members, to supporting me throughout my pursuit of my law degree, you are like Queen Midas. Even an unfortunate situation boasts not a silver lining, but a gold one, when you put your hands on it. If a career in law hadn't called out to me at the start of the pandemic, Following in your footsteps would have been the greatest gift I could have asked for, and will always take a very, very close second place to the difficult choice I made. Thank you for everything, and just know that you left your team in a much better shape than Bill Belichick left his.
Wow, that was great.
He's going to be a great lawyer. My daughter Julie is in love with this kind of speaking.
We have some fun stories for the clubs through the years, you know. Richard.
Question is, did he take the car and ask for a great conductor of an orchestra? Or a great civic leader, or a great rabbi or minister. And I have a proposal. We should be able to call you Clubhouse Director Emerita. That's it, Emerita. You're emeritus, but you still have that title.
Kind of like the chief? Like they still call him chief?
Yeah, yes, exactly. And like in Denmark, they have two queens now. They have Queen Mary, and then they have Margaret, who's still queen. So Emerita. Now he's the boss. That's just my proposal. Can we get that through? Maybe bring it up to Dawn tomorrow.
I'll go with that.
Okay. But no, you've been, it's amazing. It's just amazing, everything. It's just amazing.
All right.
That's out of my diet.
Kind of unofficial, kind of
I didn't know why this
with the festivities here. It is my job to officially welcome you and thank you for being here today as we take a little time to celebrate, to honor, and to thank Danielle Ford Allen for her over 3 decades of dedicated service. There's a few of us who are going to say a few things, and then we're going to open it up for anyone who wants to speak. And then, of course, the guest of honor will wrap it up in a bit. So I'm going to start off by welcoming to the stage Victor Gravio, the president of Riverside Community College.
Thank you, Dawn. Hey, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Victor Gravio. I'm the president of Riverside Community Care, and on behalf of Marsha Medley, our CEO, who many of you know, who unfortunately couldn't be here today, just want to say thank you to Danielle for her 3 decades of service, as Dawn said. I'm a newbie. I've been here for 2.5 years, so 30 years of service is an unbelievable achievement. And everything that Danielle has built here in partnership with the current members, former members, past members, current staff, former staff, it's truly amazing. It's always a pleasure for me to come visit Neponset River House, and it's in no small reason because of Danielle's leadership. Danielle, we're sorry that Danielle is moving on, but we feel so grateful for her many years of service and in everything she's brought to Riverside and the Ponset River House. And we want to extend our greatest gratitude to her. Thank you and well wishes for all the future grants. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vic. And next I'm going to welcome up representing the Department of Mental Health, Danielle's longtime friend and colleague, Val Comerford.
Well, hello everyone. Here we go. Is that better? So my name is Val Comerford, and I am now the Director of Recovery and Employment for Central Mass Area, DMH. But that's my third job in Human Services. My first real job in Human Services was as the Program Director of Crossroads Clubhouse, where I met my very dear friend, Danielle Ford Allen. I have a few talking points. It's loud enough, right? I've always been told I'm too loud, so.
Yeah, try now.
A couple of people commented on my blouse today, and it has hearts, and they're all different colors, which represents the love that I feel for Danielle, the love that she has shared with me as my friend and with this community and many clubhouse communities throughout Massachusetts and across the country as being part of Clubhouse International. And the different colors represent her belief in diversity. She has always strived to have the most diverse membership and staff of any clubhouse that I know. And it's a pleasure to walk in here because you can feel that inclusivity. And that's what Danielle is about. And you have achieved that. And I know you've worked hard to achieve that. Danielle is my lioness. And when I say my lioness, what I mean is she is strong, she is powerful, and she's also very nurturing. And I think everyone in this room has felt that from time to time. We worked for 20 years together as fellow clubhouse directors. And then our roles changed and I went to work for the Department of Mental Health. It was a difficult move for me. And it was difficult to even share that with Danielle and the other clubhouse directors at the time. But it was most difficult for Danielle. We had this little secret, you see. There was this little secret we had that someday that we would run a clubhouse together. And we never realized that dream, not really. But we worked so closely that it felt like we were running one huge community together at times. Danielle was always asking questions, looking for answers, and protecting her community. And when I went to work for the Department of Mental Health, which was almost 8 years ago, which is October will be 8 years. It feels like it's only been a couple of years. But we remained close. It just meant that my role was a little bit different than her role, but she remained as inquisitive as she always was. And I'm going to mention a couple of characteristics of Danielle that I believe really represent our relationship, and when others think of her, it might be what they think of as well. Before I forget, because her parents are here and her brother is here, I want to thank you for sharing her with us all these years. Danielle is a tenacious problem solver. Tenacious problem solver. Whether it was a problem within her community or a problem with the contracts, the new contracts that came in, she would look at those contracts and find cracks that she could take advantage of. And she knows what I'm talking about. And she would share those insights with other clubhouse directors across the state so they could improve the way that they do their billing, so that they could understand the nuances, let's say, of billing and improve that situation for their clubs. And that was really a gift that she had, just a real problem solver. And within her community, if she hired a staff person that maybe wasn't working out greatly in the unit that they were initially designed, she would figure out a role for them that would make them feel successful, and they could also feel that sense of belonging. She didn't want any staff member or any member in this community to ever feel like they couldn't achieve and be successful. She didn't want anybody to feel less than. She wanted people to succeed, and you found a way to do that for many people over the years. A community leader, not only in the Norwood area, but within the Clubhouse Coalition and Clubhouse International. You couldn't go to an international seminar and not hear people yelling Danielle's name. You can't go to a Clubhouse function without people asking, how's Danielle doing? I had to call an old member of Crossroads, well actually he called me, John Trask. And I said, I'm going to Danielle's retirement party. He said, Danielle? She's retiring? She was my favorite staff person ever. And he didn't come to this club. He went to Crossroads. I don't know what kind of a message that was for me. And a role model. You know, Danielle is so intelligent and so well written. She's a poet, if you didn't know it. She is a poet. She's ethical and very trustworthy. We shared secrets, of which I have never shared with anyone else, and I know she's never shared my secrets. You don't meet someone who can be that trustworthy every day. And to have a coworker who becomes a friend that you can share that with is really something special. How about Danielle's courage? The strongest advocate that I have ever met. She would go to the State House in Boston and with that power walk down the halls and knock on those doors and speak to any representative or senator that she could to say, we mean business. We need your support. Clubhouse matters. My members matter. Please help us. She would talk to anyone to improve the situation for clubhouses in Massachusetts. She can walk into any setting, whether it's in downtown Norwood or at the main office at Riverside, and she will ask for things to improve the situation at Neponset River House. She wants for this clubhouse community to be as strong and vibrant as it possibly can. She's never afraid to ask for help. She knows that this is a partnership model. That's my reminder. You know, they work, right? Of course, it made me lose my train of thought, but that's okay. She will speak up for clubhouses wherever she goes, and she'll go to the main office in Riverside and ask Vic, or she would ask Scott or Marcia or anyone for things she needed for her clubhouse community. And she will go to a representative or a senator or to DMH and ask. And she will ask from DMH. And she will return my calls when I need her to return my calls. I can always count on that. There is no roadblock, no barrier that she doesn't. She will either jump over a roadblock or a barrier, or she will gather her membership with sledgehammers and she will destroy those roadblocks. That's great. Nothing gets in her way of success. She will make lemonade, I screw this up sometimes, lemonade out of lemons. And then the next thing she will do is she will invite you over for a cup of lemonade because she has such a generosity of spirit. DFA, as I like to call her, has been the expert on Clubhouse, on adversity, and on friendship. I love you. Go play. Thank you. Whoever's speaking next.
It's only Dawn.
I do the short straw.
If you had a Facebook site, you could put this on.
Thank you, Val, for those wonderful and very meaningful remarks about your longtime friend, Danielle. I'm going to apologize in advance because I'm sucking on a cough drop. You might have noticed I'm being a little standoffish and not shaking hands or hugging people. I'm just getting over an awful virus. So I will be having a cough drop. And I'm going to try to get through this without coughing or crying, but I make no promises. And I got 30 years to go over, so sit back, folks. This is going to take a while. Danielle first started working for Riverside in 1992 as a residential counselor. But after about a year, she decided working in residential programs was not her calling, and she thought she'd check out a different program, then called the Ponset River Center and transferred into a unit coordinator role. That's when I met Danielle, over 30 years ago. But I really got to know her a couple of years later in 1994 when the program went through one of those crises that unfolds into a wonderful opportunity for a positive transformation. The Ponset River Center, like many similar programs at that time in Massachusetts, was struggling to transition from the social club model to being a true clubhouse. The program director at the time was a wonderful person, but did not fully understand nor embrace the clubhouse model, and Riverside had to ask her to move on. I was the director of Elliott House at the time and was asked to wear two hats for a while and serve as the acting director of the Ponset River Center until a replacement was found. And for many months, I split my time between the two clubhouses. Right away, I was struck by Danielle's sense of presence in the program. But honestly, I didn't know quite what to make of her. She was unabashedly proud of being a local gal who grew up one town over in Westwood. She was, for lack of a better term, a bit boisterous, and well, maybe a little rough around the edges. But she was clearly whip smart, unafraid to question authority and challenge the status quo, but always in a respectful manner. And she was incredibly hardworking, expect nothing but the best from herself and those around her, and underneath it all, she had a heart of gold. I knew she was a keeper, but I would be lying if I told you that I foresaw then how special she would become and how much she would mean to this program, its members and staff, to Riverside, and to her clubhouse colleagues here at Riverside and the Clubhouse Massachusetts Coalition and across the Clubhouse International community, and of course to me. Not surprisingly, given all the traits I've listed, Danielle quickly moved up the ranks from unit coordinator to employment coordinator to assistant director and ultimately to being the clubhouse director here for the last 21 years. But I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. In 1995, we hired Catherine Tachas as the director here. Catherine is here with us today and is now the director at Horizon House, our clubhouse in Wakefield. Catherine was an experienced clubhouse director and was brought on board with a mandate to turn the program into a standards-based accredited clubhouse. Not long into her tenure, Catherine made what she would tell you was probably one of her smartest decisions ever. She promoted Danielle to be her assistant director at what is then called the Ponset River House. Together, they transformed a floundering program without a clear identity into a truly outstanding clubhouse. They were a great team, a formidable duo, who made NRH a leader in the Massachusetts Clubhouse Coalition and beyond. Catherine and Danielle worked their magic together for 7 years until Catherine left to have her twins. Catherine had been a great mentor to Danielle, and Danielle was clearly the heir apparent. So when Catherine had to go out on bed rest in October 2002 until the babies were born, Danielle became the acting director. It was during this time when one of those moments happened that you do not always appreciate nor recognize at the time, but looking back, you see it as a seminal moment in someone's transformation from who they are to who they will become. Something transpired which taught Danielle a lesson in what it means to accept bottom line responsibility as a clubhouse director. She knows where I'm going, and revealed some of her true strengths and qualities to me and to the other person who got pulled into the story, Riverside's former president and CEO, Mr. Scott Bach. Representative John Rogers had visited NRH when he first ran for office in 1993. He'd pop in every election cycle, but had not really established a strong connection to the clubhouse, nor to Riverside for that matter. That all changed in the fall of 2002, when another crisis was transformed into something very positive, thanks to Danielle. As many of you know, our clubhouses send out newsletters on a monthly basis, never really knowing who is and who isn't reading the newsletter. That particular month, in the fall of 2002, given that she was wearing multiple hats and just trying to keep the clubhouse afloat in Catherine's absence, Danielle let a newsletter slip out the door without giving it the once-over. So she was unaware that a member who had had a beef with Representative Rogers had written a somewhat scathing editorial about his least favorite politician and called him a few choice names. Also unbeknownst to Danielle in the clubhouse, one of the avid readers of the NRH monthly newsletter was someone who you might say was in Representative Rogers' inner circle. This person called both Danielle and Scott very angry and upset, wanting to know why NRH in Riverside was publicly trashing her husband. Apologies were offered to Mrs. Rogers, and Scott called the representative, who was very understanding. But we decided a trip to the State House to make an apology in person was in order. So a few days later, the three of us entered the representative's office, cap in hand, with Scott and I offering explanations for what happened and assurances that it would never happen again. But it was Danielle who stole the show that day. She graciously apologized, humbly asked for forgiveness, and then seamlessly transitioned into inviting the representative to come to NRH, spend some time there, get to really know the clubhouse and its members, and hopefully form what she suggested could be a mutually beneficial relationship. It was masterful. Representative Rogers took her up in her offer, and since then, for over 2 decades, has been a great friend and a staunch supporter of NRH and Riverside. And while that was a phone call Scott would rather have not received, and I'm sure he would have rather chosen to be anywhere else that sunny autumn afternoon other than at the State House, apologizing to a state rep who had been lambasted in a Riverside-sanctioned publication. Those of you who knew Scott know that he was a silver lining kind of guy. So I wasn't that surprised when the next day he called me up, positively gushing about Danielle, who he didn't really know very well at the time. He was incredibly impressed by her poise, her humility, and of course, how she turned an apology into an advocacy opportunity. Scott said, "That Danielle is a real diamond in the rough. We need to make sure we hang on to her." And as he was in many, if not most things, Scott was 100% correct. Not long after that, Catherine's twins were born, Danielle officially ascended into the role of clubhouse director, and our relationship began in earnest. It has been an amazing ride for me, riding sidecar on her journey, watching Danielle become the clubhouse maestro, the true rock star that she is. Some people grow into a role. Danielle reimagined it. She became a clubhouse director extraordinaire and took the great clubhouse that she and Catherine have built to new heights. Here at NRH, she has been an outstanding manager and supervisor, an organizational guru, and an incredibly inspiring leader who is continually challenging herself and her clubhouse community to revitalize and reinvent NRH and to grow and be better. And I would be remiss if I did not mention her talent and affinity for the annual budgeting process. Some managers tolerate putting together a budget. Some managers absolutely hate doing budgets. Danielle absolutely loves doing her budget every year. It's a little freaky. If Eric and I gave Danielle her budget template late on a Friday afternoon, she would have it back to us Monday morning and then tell us about how much fun she had over the weekend working on it. One of her greatest strengths is as a leader, supervisor, and a mentor for staff. Danielle has a knack, a real gift, for identifying people's strengths, putting them in positions to succeed, and bringing out the best in them. By doing so, what she has gotten in return over the last 2 decades are countless staff who are fiercely loyal to her and willing to do whatever she asks of them. When she told me a number of years ago that NRH was going to start having New Year's Eve parties and stay open past midnight, I told her she would never get any staff who would come work at the clubhouse on New Year's Eve. But of course she did. As she also did when they started having Super Bowl parties when the Patriots were regular participants, another thing I told her would never work. But she pulls off these kinds of things for two reasons. One, because she's always right there working alongside her staff on these occasions. And two, because as she has taught me, you never tell Danielle she won't be able to accomplish a daunting task, because she will prove you wrong time and time again. But for all she has done to lead the staff here, even more important is the leadership and mentorship she has provided to members here at NRH. Doing for members what she does for staff, identifying people's strengths, putting them in positions to succeed, and bringing out the best in them. Over the years, she has developed genuine and meaningful relationships with countless members. Yes, as the clubhouse director, but also as a friend or surrogate, sister, aunt, or mom, a shoulder to cry on, and someone with whom to celebrate life's joys and successes. Danielle, I hope you know how truly treasured you are by this NRH community. You would be hard-pressed to find someone more knowledgeable and more passionate about the clubhouse model than Danielle. So it should come as no surprise that it has not just been NRH and Riverside that has benefited from that. For the last 20 years, Danielle has been a member of the Clubhouse International faculty, and during that time has done accreditation visits to 30 clubhouses across the US and Canada, and has presented at clubhouse conferences multiple times here in Massachusetts and across North America. As the longstanding co-chair of the Massachusetts Clubhouse Coalition Membership Committee, Danielle has helped almost a dozen Massachusetts clubhouses prepare for their accreditation by conducting mock accreditation visits at their clubhouse and providing valuable feedback. And while our four clubhouses achieve 3-year accreditations on their own merits, it certainly has not hurt to have our own internal expert with the inside scoop to coach all of us through the process when it rolls around again for each of our clubhouses. Danielle has also proven herself to be a great partner and collaborator with her fellow Riverside programs, some of who are represented here today, and our colleagues at DMH who are also here. When presented with a challenge or request, she doesn't say, we can't do that, but instead takes the approach, we got this, we'll figure it out, we'll get it done. As Danielle's supervisor for the last 2 decades, I have had the privilege of watching her evolve into the best example of a servant leader I have ever encountered. Google the term servant leader and you will find a myriad of definitions, including this one. A servant leader is a leader who focuses primarily on the growth and well-being of people and the communities to which they belong. And by focusing on uplifting those they serve, they foster community, collaboration, and shared success. If that does not describe Danielle to a T, I don't know what does. Don't get me wrong, she can still be a little boisterous and is still unafraid to respectfully question authority and challenge the status quo. Believe me, I know. But she still has a heart of gold. She's still whip smart. And she has attained a deep wisdom that I am often in awe of. I know that as much as I may have taught you over the years, I have learned as much and even more from her. No longer that diamond in the rough, as Scott described her many years ago, Danielle has become a true gem amongst gems, who will leave behind a light shining here at NRH in Riverside for many years to come. Danielle has dedicated pretty much her whole adult life to Clubhouse, and it has been her life's work. And through this work, and by generously sharing of herself, her talents, and her wisdom with all of us, the Massachusetts Clubhouse Coalition and the Clubhouse International community, it is no hyperbole to say that Danielle has made the lives of thousands of Clubhouse members and staff immeasurably better. You have made quite an impact, my friend, and have truly left your mark in this world. It has been an honor to bear witness to all that you've accomplished and all that you've done for the NRH community, for Riverside, and for the broader Clubhouse world. On behalf of all of us here in the room today, and all of those lives who you've touched and helped improve, and for all you've done for me, I say simply, thank you, Danielle. This is where I would probably hug Danielle, but I'm sick and we don't hug, so it ain't gonna happen. At this point, before Danielle comes up to speak, we did want to give an opportunity for other people to just say a few words on the cuff if you like. And before we do that, I want to invite up to the podium Tom Malord. Been a staff person here for over 3.5 years. He was a unit coordinator, employment coordinator, and as of Monday, Tom will be the new program director here at the raise their hands. Tom and I are going to kind of call people together because I know some people, he knows some people, so we'll figure it out together. So, anyone would like to say, and you can just speak from your seat. Anybody want to get up and say anything? Neil.
Hi. As you know, I lean towards the Navajos. Danielle, my mother, and myself are warriors. We fight for justice. My mother and I use our pens to stand up for justice. You can see my articles in newspapers. We're going to fight and beat the things that are unjust. We are warriors and we are survivors.
Oh, missed it.
I just wanted to thank Danielle. It's been almost 4 years since I've been here, and I couldn't do anything because of my seizures. And she's influenced me to go back to school in the field of mental
So, Danielle, I want to thank you for helping to make the Massachusetts Clubhouse Coalition so strong, for mentoring so many clubhouses, and doing so many trainings for us, and to being a good advisor for me personally. You know, I could always, if I had a question about anything clubhouse, I'd go right to Danielle, and she would let me know what to do and what's what. When we were in Florida and heard that clubhouses might get eliminated, we had an emergency phone call, and within a couple of days, we had a 2,000 person, protest happen. We turned it around. Danielle in her clubhouse rallied and made all this. Yeah. And she made it happen. So I want to thank you for mentoring Emmett, my son, and helping him build self-confidence that he did when he was here. Your leadership and the community that you've built here has made a huge difference in his life. And now he's gone on he went to be an aide to a city councilor, and on Monday he started a new job for the city manager in Cambridge. And you helped to do that. And when I knew that when Emmett was looking for a job, and you said you were looking for a young adult who was male, I said, I've got a young adult. Looking for a job. I said, have him call me. And it was just
the best candidate. I can't say that other parts
And I wanted him to be with an excellent clubhouse director, and he was. And you're just the best, and you've just helped build not only the clubhouse community here, but throughout Massachusetts and really throughout the world.
Yeah.
So thank you so much.
Right on.
I've known you a long time, and one thing I can say, you haven't won out your welcome. A lot of staff have, and I can honestly say, if I was president, I'd want you to be the first lady.
Let's see what those questions are.
I started with Riverside a long time ago. I don't want to date people, so I won't give years, but quite a while ago. I wasn't part of NRH right away. Became friends with some people that were, and one of my longtime friends would always talk about Danielle, and I would say, how can you be friends with somebody that can put you in the hospital? I said, you can't be friends with staff. They'll never be your friend. And like Dawn said, you weren't aware of this because I've never told you this, but you've been a long-time friend and a mentor.
My best friends too. You know that.
Thank you.
Danielle, I want to thank you. I feel so out of place calling her Danielle.
I know. Go ahead, call me what you call
Because her name to me is Daffy. Danielle Allen Ford. So I really want to thank you for influencing my life and helping me to become the person I am and where I'm going.
We share a journey together.
Yes, yes.
We do.
Yep.
And I, before you go there, I just want to explain to folks why I am Daffy. Me and Worm were hanging out when the computers first came out. Remember way back then? I'm dating right now. And we had this thing called autocorrect. So it took the DFA and turned it to Daft, and I didn't know and sent it. So since then he's been calling me Daffy. We won't tell you what DMH got turned to in the autocorrect.
Scotty?
I just want to say, Danielle, thank you for letting me play with fire all these years, even after the mouse incident.
Grill master, keep going.
Yes, there was a grill involved. But I didn't know how to cook until I got the Ponce River house. But within a week, Danielle had me running in the kitchen. Little did she know.
So, you've inspired me, you've motivated me, you've encouraged me, you've saddened me. You've been so helpful for me. I have been looking for you all the time, anytime I have a problem. You've always been there and available. I'm glad that you start your day early because I do as well. So at 6:30 it wasn't an issue. But thank you for everything. I don't think I would have been able to manage it without you being available for me at 6:30 in the morning and giving me the advice and the support that you gave me. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Nice job,
Yes, Carolyn. Let me tell you, where I am today is definitely due to you. When I first came to the Ponce River House, you have a story, and I can't imagine why. I know there are so many people that I do not know who know the story, and it's the greatest story. I came here and I was like, I didn't know what I was doing, but I thought it was a good idea to go into the conference room and read my Wall Street Journal and just sit there all day long. And everyone, I did this for a while, and then the staff kept coming in one at a time, trying to get me to get out of there and come and get me, and eventually it worked. And then I became more involved in the clubhouse and doing the simple little things, and that just got me really started, and you were nurturing and allowed me to just like grow for some of the things that I was able to do and those strengths and utilize them in the clubhouse. And we did the education program, and how many people got their GED because I took the time and just devoted my efforts into making sure that I could contribute to the clubhouse in some meaningful way, and I did. And that you couldn't put a dollar sign on how I felt because of that. So I just want to say thank you for being so nurturing and to give me like full reign to explore and develop myself to where I am today. I'm still here. I do meetings on Power Positivity meetings on Thursday from 4 to 5, and I'm here. And so I'm a member, always a member, and I'll always be here. So
You are so beautiful.
so long. And I wish I knew you better. I mean, these stories are just incredible. I mean, really the gold standard for clubhouse directors. I want to thank you for supporting Point After Club too. I'm looking at the A team here. Paula and Danielle came out in 2016 to the Point After Club. We're going through accreditation. And it was really cool because you're cool. I mean, what a personality, right? I mean, the DJing at the Nichols College, and every time I run into you, I wish I ran into you more because you have such a beautiful smile, and it's so much fun. And how important that is. We heard all the great stuff, that you do, and your attention to detail, question authority, which is good. These are great characteristics. But what I will always remember is how fun you are. You're just a wonderful person. And whenever I hung out with you at the conferences and stuff, I said, and I just thank you for actually starting in my new role, coming to, inviting me to your stakeholders meeting and the findings report. That was, and just to see this beautiful clubhouse, it's incredibly beautiful. And out of the box stuff like renting a car. I mean, that was really good. Renting a car for the clubhouse. I mean, that is classic stuff.
I didn't know that.
I've told that story. But just, the clubhouse is one thing, but I think Don mentioned it. I mean, the positive impact you've had on thousands, literally, I know thousands of lives. I mean, God bless you. That's phenomenal.
I like that. Yeah, see, this is why I wasn't gonna say it. So, 7 years. Molly.
It's not to make too much of a difference, but go ahead. I can only do it to you because I'm so short.
So tall. This is our shape. 7 of the best years of my life were right here. I'm doing this work with you. So everybody's describing Danielle, question authority, and and all of that is true, absolutely 100%. But still, the best darn assistant director that anyone could ask for. No offense to any of my other past or my current assistant director. However, there was just something magic in our connection. And I just want to say thank you. Danielle, always had my back. Always. Danielle would come into my office, her office now, and say,
Tom's office.
This is Tom's office. That is the most ridiculous idea you have ever had. It will never work. I can't believe it. Okay, it's out of my system. Let's go make it happen. That was Danielle's approach to assistant director. She would argue and push back and encourage me to rethink some of my foolish ideas, and then would go and help make it happen. She herself also came up with some amazing ideas that I never. You're never going to Florida in a concert house. That's the most ridiculous idea. Don't tell Danielle it can't happen, because it will. She fundraised. So I mean, there are several million stories I could tell about those 7 years, and I probably am not going to tell. I'm not going to tell any of them, but I want to say thank you. I would not have wanted to have left, I'll say it, my clubhouse was to anyone but, in the capable hands of Danielle. I would not want to hear about it years after leaving, so I left when I had my kids, except for hearing about it from Danielle, and I was ever so thrilled at the constant success and growth and just amazing stories. I tried really hard not to be the, damn, why didn't I do that kind of person, and just hear the stories and think about how great they were. But really, again, I just want to say thank you. We are going to continue our friendship and connection for sure, absolutely. And yeah, thank you for making the Concert River House the most amazing clubhouse ever. And again, for being
Promised Danielle that I wouldn't let that go
Paula
on
has
for
her hand
2
up.
hours, as I know we could, but
Paula.
Paula would like to say something, so we will proceed to her.
None of the other staff got up, so I said, I can do it. I'm almost exactly gonna say, or could have said, what Catherine said, from the opposite direction. Over the years, you've encouraged me. You encouraged me to become faculty. And that's been tremendous for me. I've enjoyed it immensely. And after having been a member of a clubhouse for over 25 years, Danielle.
Same thing.
Danielle welcomed me to become a staff at Neponset River House. And she fulfilled a dream that had been a dream for a long time, since I met that lady from DMH. And I have loved working with you. And Catherine said you had her back. Well, you've had my back more than your share of times. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate you and how much I love working for you. And I look forward to just being your friend.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tom, for helping me do this. And I just want to share something that, Tom and I have talked about, and it came up in his interview when he was here. No one's replacing Danielle. You don't replace Danielle Ford Allen. But Tom is going to be the new director on Monday, and I just want to really ask everybody to give him your full support, which I know you will, because that's who you guys are. So, thank you so much. And without further ado, the person of the hour, Danielle Ford Allen.
Short. Wow, it's hard to sit there and hear all these great things about you. And I think before I go on, everybody this time planning for my retirement, getting to this point, and everybody keeps telling me and thanking me for all the wonderful things I did, and how I had this idea, and I this and I that. And you guys all know that there's no I in team, and I did nothing. I did this with you. It was not me, it was us. We did this, we accomplished this. I have an amazing community with members and staff who love me and have trusted me over the years to do what's right for them, and that's what I put first. Riverside is an incredible organization to work for. For those who don't know, Scott is the one that actually interviewed me. I thought he was somebody's assistant that couldn't shut this hung out. It was a great interview. Got a call the next day. Oh, you don't have to come for any more. You got it. I'm like, all right. Get my first paycheck. I'm like, oh my God, why is this assistant signing my paychecks? But Scott ignited something. Anybody who had the opportunity to know this man. At a very young age, I was just very influenced by how he carried himself and how he knew every employer's name that walked through the thing, and he'd have some little thing, and the ones he liked because he picked on you.
Yeah.
Relentlessly. I see what he's done to Val over the years. I want to thank a lot of people, and I'm afraid to list people or say things because I'm going to forget somebody else. So if I don't say your name, it wasn't that you weren't part of my life. And it was very hard to come up here and speak after Don. I know he's been making sure that his speech was accurate, so he'd say, "Oh, when did this happen?" And I'd tell him the year, and then I'd go to my speech and cross it off. So I got to the point where I really thought, you know what? I'm not much of a speech person, so I've got a couple little bullet points that I want to make sure that I hit, because I want to thank the community. You guys are spending the day thanking me for my achievements, but I couldn't have done any of this without you. I think Reva, Bell, you guys used the word partnerships. It's all about your partnerships in life. Whether it is part of any of the Massachusetts Clubhouse Coalitions, loved your clubhouse. We had Clubhouse Rocks back in God knows when. The Department of Mental Health. As much as a pain in the butt I have been, you guys have supported me. And I feel that I can actually have a voice at the table. Over the years, and especially with Val in her role, she's really let clubhouses get to shine a little bit more. I can't be up here without thanking my parents, and for my question of authority and love of budgets. And for problem solving, that would be my parents, especially my dad. Yeah. Mom gave me the creativity and the ability to cook. And I have my two brothers here, which is wonderful, and my sister. And I'm very excited about where my journey is going to take me in the future. And I've been very blessed, people hear that all the time, to be able to go to love where you go on Monday morning as much and sometimes more than where I was going on Friday afternoon. I wanted to thank my significant other who's here for the last decade. Adam's been my rock. And he's always had to come second. And how many times he's rolled his eyes because I need to leave right now because I'm going to do something for the club. Or, the decision didn't come easy. But ultimately it's the best decision for the club. And I think everybody needs somebody to blame. So if we're going to blame anybody for why I'm leaving, it's Andy Wilson from Carriage House in Indiana. And why are we blaming him? Clubhouse is more important than me. Clubhouse, it is more important than any individual. It is more important than any individual member or individual staff. It is a culture of meaning, hope, and opportunity that requires vigilant protection. And that's the Clubhouse Director's job. I'm at a place in my life where I can't physically and mentally be able to do this job the way that I want it to be done, the way it should be done, the way that members deserve it to be. So I have taken this opportunity to retire, and I appreciate everything that Riverside has done for me. And the people that got up and spoke today, it says a lot. And as I look around the room, I got to thank Don. Don says he learned a lot from me, but I've learned a lot from Don. And, he's the one that I think the first time I ever heard pick your battles. I can be headstrong and persistent at times. But I think the fun part about working with Don is he would challenge me. He once, wasn't necessarily him, but I wasn't polished. So I figured out how to get polished, or at least fake it when I needed to. Pick your battles. There was a lot of them, but he's been a great boss, and he's given me the autonomy to try these new and creative and exciting things. And he's had my back when they didn't work, and he's been there to take the credit with me when they do. And Catherine, you were my mentor. I used to just listen to you all the time because she spoke so eloquently about clubhouses and could articulate it. And when she wasn't around, I'd be using her, her verbiage and her articulation at other meetings, and I was like, oh, I sounded smart. I smelled like Catherine today, But she was just a great mentor, and I take credit for some of her twins. That's a whole nother story. And then I look around the room and I just think of the years that I've had with folks. Carrie over there sitting in the corner was, one of the first members to hold my son, who's now 26 years old and has one of his own. And I just look at, the folks around the room and the employers that have been, fabulous to us, Salvation Army and Affordable Cleaning Solutions, and I look at Riverside and, all the programs. And, what I'd like to leave for my Riverside folks and for all my family in here is, I'd like you to think twice before you send an email that you could get done in a phone call. You guys are laughing, but I'm telling you, we could get 5 minutes worth of work on a telephone call that's going to take 30 emails, and I got to figure out who started where and who didn't include who and who didn't. So that's my word of wisdom to you. I'm also going to tell you to get off Zoom a little bit more and to do things more in public. And I keep hearing, but it's easier. Well, when have we always done things because it was easier? I've got to tell you, some of the best innovations, some of the best initiatives we started, and the collaborations within Riverside all happened in the parking lot and before and after the meetings. That's how you really got to know people, and you really got to, the meeting was about the meeting, but the outside of it, those moments we're missing. And I think that you can feel that. And when you get a chance, if you're doing something right now 100% by Zoom, see if you can do it 50%. I just really think that, the pandemic, everybody keeps saying it made us isolated. I think we're still isolated. And I think you need to break down the things, about that. And about the future. Oh, you gotta go? Oh, okay. Lee has a daughter named Danielle. It's a beautiful name. We're always teasing her. So the other thing that, in the clubhouse has been my life. It's what I do. I've struggled with who I'm going to be if I'm not clubhouse director at a Ponce River House. But I figured it out. I'm a helper. It doesn't make a difference what I'm doing or where I go. I'm going to help people. That's just who I am. And if I can't find them, they'll find me. That's been my life. I want to thank Carol. She brought the beautiful cupcakes today. Scott Barnes is back there doing my facility side. He's the reason today we have bathrooms. They all decided to go out yesterday. But there's just so many people that I could say some wonderful things about. And Tom, anytime anybody brings up my shoes, I want you to tell them that they're flip-flops. Okay? Because I like wearing flip-flops. And you are going to have your own set of work boots. Yes. And I expect and know that he's going to do some great things. The one thing he needs is your support and your support behind him. Got it. You got it. Of all the things we've done at the clubhouse, and Disney World was one of them, all the places we've gone, all the people we've seen, all the people that have passed away, that we've lost, there's one person that I kind of want to shine today, and you're probably going to be a little bit, that's Jen Karp. And she's not with us today. Jen passed away in the year 2000. She was 30 years old. She led a sedentary lifestyle where all she did really was eat subs, sit around, smoke butts, drink Coke, and not much more of anything else. Like to listen to country music. And she passed away, and it really hit me hard. And the best gift, or the most beautiful gift she gave us, was her mother, Judy, who was trying to be here with us today. She lives in Florida. She's heading back up this way. Judy started the Jen Karp Fund in 2001, and since then has raised over $30,000 for our clubhouse. Judy made it very clear. This money was not for whatever Riverside wanted it for. It wasn't for whatever the clubhouse wanted it for. It was for health and wellness. It could only be spent on things that were going to improve the quality of life and the health of the membership. And I have held that fund near and dear to my heart. It pays for our gyms. It pays for our people, for our fields for softball. Pays for our pool at Westwood High School. We're on a family plan. Any member here can go to that pool. And I had nice conversations with Mrs. Karp as I'm planning on leaving, and I told her that it was very important to me to hold on to this Gen Karp fund. And as it's now aged 20 years, a lot of the people that used to give to it are no longer with us, and we're not seeing the influx. And I told her that it was very important to me, the health and wellness of my membership was probably the one, I hold it very near and dear to my heart. And I asked, and she agreed, and we are renaming the account to the Karp Allen Fund. And I'm asking everyone, when you get to tax season and you need someplace you need to donate the money, always say the Neponset River House, but if you want to earmark it for the Gen Karp Fund, that would be greatly appreciated. And in honor of me, and someday it may be in dedication of me. But I just want you guys to know, this clubhouse, this agency, the clubhouse movement, Clubhouse International, has been such a huge, huge part of my life. And I'm gonna thank you. And that's it, we're done.
So who else is not surprised that Danielle both challenged us and asked for something in her Nicely done, Danielle. So that wraps up our official program. There's plenty of food back there, there's drink over here, and if you've never had a Carol Weber cupcake, you have never had a cupcake. So go grab one of those. Thank you guys all for being here today. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Banana caramel. Oh, banana with caramel.
How are you doing?